The way in which the planet Earth has been coloured by animals and plants and how they have evolved and adapted is shown in this highly illustrated BBC book, which accompanies the series and which is available at bookshops. On BBC2 now, a further adventure for Ian Lavender as the hapless salesman, the Hello Goodbye Man. Here on 1 in 25 minutes, part 4 of R.F. Delderfield's story, Diana. First, the 9 o'clock news comes from Sue Lawley.
Unemployment is up again. The government's disappointed and puzzled. 6 tax-free ports for Britain. They could mean more jobs. New battles tonight around beleaguered Beirut, a Druze bombardment. Beating the burglars, the neighbourhood watch is working. And after the Harrods bomb, the baby who's given his father the will to live. Good evening. The government got a nasty shock today. The number of people out of work, which has been steadily declining for the last 3 months, took a sharp turn for the worse. There are now nearly 3,200,000 people without a job. That's 120,000 more than in December, the worst jump in unemployment for a year. Mrs. Thatcher said the figures were disappointing. Her junior employment minister, Peter Morrison, called them puzzling. Labour spokesman John Smith said they were appalling. And for the SDP, Ian Wrigglesworth said the Chancellor should hang his head in shame. A further veil of gloom was cast on hopes for an improvement by the latest forecasts from a major international authority. The Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development, in a report published tonight, says there's little prospect of lower unemployment in the next 18 months. Our industrial editor, Martin Aidney.
January is always a bad month for unemployment, but these figures show a much bigger jump than might have been expected even at this time of year. And there's no obvious excuse for it, no particularly sustained run of bad weather to coincide with the figures, or a row of spectacular redundancies. It's a jolt for the government, which had hoped that unemployment was at last showing those signs of flattening out, which has so long been predicted, but has taken so long to arrive. Well, the government line from the Prime Minister downwards today was to wait and see whether it does turn out to be simply 1 month's erratic figures, but also to admit to some puzzlement.
I have admitted that I'm genuinely puzzled, of course disappointed too, by this month's figures. But judging by what one hears when one goes around the country in terms of the competitive edge of industry as compared with their overseas competitors, we are winning back markets. That has to be good, not just for United Kingdom Limited, but it has to be good for the job prospects of those who are unemployed at the moment.
Well, hasn't it dawned on them that after 5 years in which they've been given the full opportunity to try out their policies, the result of it is economic stagnation and over 3 million unemployed? I would have thought the sensible thing for them to do is stop being puzzled, stop being disappointed, and start changing the policies, because until the policies change, the unemployment will remain high.
Today's figures are obviously bad news for those looking for work, as they also suggest that the slow rise in vacancies seems to be ending. But they contrast with growing optimism from industry about the improvement in industrial production. The CBI's economists still reckon that the rise in unemployment is slowing down and that more manufacturing firms are recruiting. And their regional reports suggest this continued to be true even in January. And that accords with the government's figures until now. They showed unemployment going up by over 20,000 a month, more than CBI